or something on the moss and see if I'm just curious about the stuff down here because
Sure.
you know.
You're gonna have to cross the river to get to the other side where the moss is. As I know, everyone else, you do notice that Ulan has stopped and is looking across into the forest. But you're just gonna crop up. You'll be just outside if you literally just step across the river.
Oh, is that the ground in the forest? I meant what's the ground like under our feet?
Oh, directly under your feet. It's
Yeah.
patchy. Directly under your feet as you guys are traveling. You've seen clusters of
footprints and stuff.
It's not soft ground. There's definitely shuffling of dirt and rock that you've made, but it's not very much like footprints.
Is this
Considering the group, yes.
I'm going to sending stone to Savant and ask him if this looks like a well-traveled path.
I will use my hunter senses to see if anyone will be near.
Sure. You can give me survival? Survival. Yeah, the ground around here is very patchy. It's mostly rocky. There is definitely earth. There is patches of moss that is on your side. It's not as flourish and as grown as it is on the other side, but the forest. But it is still there.
It's like the same moss, though, right?
Yeah, it's definitely the same type of moss. Yeah.
So kind of have a wee shifty at this moss as well. I'm just like generally curious. I'm trying to understand what's going on down here, plant life wise.
Yeah. You can also see there's also clusters of mushrooms that you've seen across the whole place as you've been traveling. And you haven't seen them, but everyone else, you do see the other types of colors as well. The purple, red, the yellow, the cyan blue.
They mentioned that the purple one was what Aaron touched and he went unconscious, right?
Paralyzed.
Paralyzed. Can I pull out my herbalism kit and like without touching it try and retrieve some?
Without touching it?
I would
without touching it with my without touching it with my hands, like you know.
With a spatula.
Yeah.
I knock it off with like the end of my quarterstaff and then I just like pick it up with the sack or something.
Seneca did that and it didn't go well for him.
Oh wait, so what happened with this mushroom that I missed?
When you basically touch them, they like explode in spores.
Oh, so it releases spores. Oh, okay, then I don't do any of that. I just avoid it.
Yeah. So Athena tried poking it with her staff and it almost knocked out Seneca as well. No, I think it did.
Okay.
It did.
Ulan would have asked
Yes.
a lot of questions about that because mushrooms are exciting.
Savant, looking at the ground, making sure obviously you're not looking at everyone else's tracks behind you. In front of you, there definitely is multiple creatures that have travelled this way. Most of them look like beasts. Looking at the claw prints, that seem to be going towards the river, either drinking it or something, possibly, and then travelling away into the cavern. You do see actual footprints as well, though. Several. It's
many?
difficult to see how many just because of how old and how hard this ground is to really see what tracks there are. But you definitely see tracks of humanoids. Looking at just what the most recent ones are, which is still difficult considering, because this isn't soft earth. This isn't leaving deep footprints where you can like see the actual like threading of the tracks. But you can see the most recent ones are probably around 3-4 people that seem to have traveled this way along pretty much where you guys have been going.
What size category are they?
They definitely are medium creatures.
Okay, I will
Or humanoids.
I will relay back. 3 medium-sized creature, humanoids definitely were walking past. Other than that, seems like creatures or beast mostly, what I can see. are going here and drinking, mostly in the morning, I think.
I'm gonna do. Django's gonna do a check as well. He's gonna get low to the ground and have a look. Yeah, he always has proficiency as well.
I'm just saying, natural explorer have exact numbers and size. It's up to you. Yes.
Is that of all the creatures or creatures that you know?
Well, that's the thing. It doesn't really specify while tracking other creatures. So everything except for me.
Yeah.
You also learn their exact numbers, the sizes, and how long ago.
Yeah.
those were there.
You're not really tracking, you're just looking what the
more
tracks
looking.
are.
It's not like I'm going after something.
Yeah. If you're like literally following someone, yeah, that would totally be it. It's like you know exactly who this person is because you've been following this person, and that would make sense. You're just literally just looking at a set of tracks. But yeah, you definitely know there's probably 4 people that have traveled this way, which are humanoids. Django's looking at it and is kind of just literally sniffing the air around. It's like,
I follow suit. See what I can smell.
you kind of just like stopped, like just like.
Huh?
You are so strange, human. I don't catch anything of what they are, but if they have gone this way, we may be going the right way after all.
Could I see which direction it did go in?
We're going the same way you guys are heading currently, across the parallel with the river.
Yeah, so they're definitely going the same way.
Seraphina and Ulan, you two going to do anything? Are you just going to look at the mushrooms?
Although we just had a quick pauldron conversation
Oh.
about just be careful with the mushrooms, and Ilan's like, I'm always careful. I would like to use my herbalism kit to collect like a dirt sample.
Sure, you can collect a dirt sample. You want to look at the moss as well.
Yes.
The moss on this side of the river is pretty much identical to what you can see, at least, on the other side. It's a little less healthy in terms of how much moisture it's taken in. It also looks like it's been eaten, so it's a little lower.
So, does it seem safe?
Give me a nature check. You know it's moss, so you know most moss isn't
And stuff to
poisonous.
eat with, so.
Yeah. Just as you have a look at it. 10. Yeah, it's moss, so most moss isn't really poisonous, so touching it's not going to be a problem. You can definitely see.
Doing it with, like, tongues and things like
Yeah,
that.
you don't. I'm not saying you're going to touch it, but looking at it, you can also tell it's definitely been eaten at. As you can see, there's actual bite marks into the matter itself. So you're definitely sure something is eating this. There isn't anything strange about it. It's not glowing. It's not like giving off any type of liquid or odor. It's very much looks like very simple moss. But yeah.
I will grab a quick moss sample as well.
Sure.
And then I have a follow-up Druidcraft question.
Druidcraft.
So obviously I made the little red mushrooms earlier.
Yeah.
Am I able to grow anything anywhere, or does it like could I, on the surface, grow the mushrooms from down here? Because I've seen them.
You're not sure what the implications will be.
I know I'm not sure what the implications will be, but would I know if I can grow
Obviously, you need
from other
seeds to germinate, or in mushroom case spores. But you could definitely attempt to do such a thing. Yeah, you're not sure what the implications would be.
Okay, so I need to have a starting point.
Exactly. You can't grow something from nothing. I'm pretty sure it says in the spell actually as well that you grow it from the seeds to germinate it.
You grow it from the seeds. So, presumably then, for all of my flower crowns, I just have a bag of seeds.
Yeah, I'm assuming, considering you're from a temple, of wood
Yeah.
and nature, you probably have some seeds. But yeah,
Okay.
you probably.
Probably then, just as a background note, Ulan would have been have a seed collection from our travels.
Sure, I'll let that.
Just I will make a point of doing it in the future, but he would have
Yeah.
if it was ooh, interesting flowers, I would take seeds.
Yeah.
And what does it say? Sensory effect. You can instantly make a flower blossom, a seed pod open, or a leaf bud bloom.
Hmm.
And harmless sensory effects like falling leaves, or the faint odor of a skunk. Oh man, I should have done that when Aaron was sniffing.
No. God damn it.
Gosh. Yeah.
Too far
Okay,
away.
so yeah, so there I would presume in the dirt sample that Ulan has taken, there's possibly some spores. Maybe there's a chance there might be.
There might be some. Yeah.
Okay.
You're not sure if it'd be from the cloud, but there's definitely some probably from the
From
nature area.
mushrooms on the ground as well.
Okay, let me-
Rather than the tree mushrooms. It doesn't matter now. I'm just thinking once we get back home, he'll probably try and under controlled conditions try and grow some of these mushrooms.
Okay. Put next to it a 2, and when you do, I'll tell you which type of mushrooms they are.
Okay.
I'm very glad you said control. By the way, I'm really glad you said control because I don't want a fucking environmental disaster.
Yeah.
Fucking
No,
mushrooms.
we're gonna once we get home, we're gonna set up a lab, and it will be it'll be Ulan and Savant's lab, and I will make plants happen, and you can make explosions happen, and it will be great, and we absolutely
We
will
will
change
at
the
least
world.
make a blast chamber just for growing plants and explosion.
Are you done back there? We still have things to do.
I wouldn't have taken that long, and I catch up pretty quick, so
Well, Seraphine is messaging. Alright.
yeah.
As you guys travel back into convoy, I guess, you start seeing that ahead seems to be some type of there's definitely some type of almost a ring of rocks you can see in the distance, especially those at the front, and the river seems to be splitting towards it, and it's actually part of the forest. It's not directly into the forest, but it's definitely attached to it, almost like the forest is kind of built around it. It's not obscured by the I'm just going to call them trees, because they pretty much look like trees.
Well, they are mushroom trees.
Mushroom trees, yeah. But you can see it's almost curved around it, almost like
Like naturally or
like it didn't want to go near it, or it's been either cut down. You're not really sure from this distance, but you can see the river definitely goes towards it, and those with high enough perception, you can definitely hear the falling of water into what seems to be almost like rain, just the
That falling water sounds like a waterfall, guys.
Huh?
whoa, when water falls, it's a waterfall.
Alright.
And actually, at this point, you guys can see pretty much up towards the Titan steps. It's still a little off angle, but you can see the exit or entrance from this angle, which is directly above the forest, which is off to the west. Off to the west.
Are we able to see where our flight path would be, so it would be able to be seen from this direction?
Yeah, just about. Actually, yeah, all of you are flying. So pretty much all of you can remember when you were looking down towards the forest, you did see one particular thing, which is definitely different from the rest of the forest. The location where several rivers seem to be flowing into what looks to be some type of pit or chasm, which seem to be into the ground. And as you guys are approaching, Ithamore, the Thoradin. Yes, this is where it was supposed to be. I don't know if we were supposed to meet anyone here. I just know this is the direction.
Can you be more specific? Do you know any more details?
No, I was just to guard it. But this is the drop-off point. He points over towards the rocks.
I look at the others and say, he says the drop-off point is supposed to be over there.
Where the water noise is coming from.
Where he's pointing.
Which
Like
seems to be that.
Alright. Well, waterfalls get kind of misty. Was it
And
misty
it's-
more
and
as
it's
in like
technically
a Scottish moor, or more as in like a mouth?
It was on a piece of paper, which it's an elven, so Aaron could at least tell you. Yeah, it's more like a mouth. The word is supposed to mean.
So M-A-W, not M-O-O-R.
Yeah,
Okay.
M-A-W.
Okay. So that's exciting. Okay.
Not to be like he says it for Sanderson. Not to be funny about it, but technically a waterfall is a drop-off point.
Well, if this is it, we should be proceeding more cautiously. We don't know what could be waiting, or if there is anything. And as it's not really on the other side of the river, but it is part of the forest, there is a collection of the spore cloud that's on one side of this. It's not encompassing the entirety, which it seems to be whatever this opening is. It seems to be keeping away the spore cloud.
So we can actually
enveloping.
investigate and not have to go into the spore cloud.
As long as you don't go into the other side. Yeah.
Right.
Savant is gonna start doing some prime wall. Yeah, it's
What?
not prime wall awareness.
Primeval awareness.
No, it's not that. It's
Primordial awareness.
No,
Basically, he's aware of something.
for fuck's sake, it's a dumb word. That's not primeval. It's primeval.
Yeah, it is. Primeval.
It is. Yeah, it is primeval. Yeah.
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 Primeval.
How do you say that primeval?
Yeah. Primeval.
Prime, P-I-I-M, eval.
Evil.
EV.
It's
Eval.
not just evil. It's like from Amazon next day delivery.
Aha. Yeah, you can totally do that. I think it takes a minute.
10 minutes.
Oh, so you can start doing that. What's the range?
No,
Mile, isn't it?
1 minute. Sorry.
Oh yeah, I was going to say it's like not 2 minutes. It's a minute and it's a mile radius.
Things been I have.
And what creatures can you detect with that? Mm.
I think he has to pick one.
Oh, I think you
can
pick one.
detect Iris. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Shut up,
you can
bird.
pick a category, isn't it? It's like dragons or
Dragons,
or
giants, celestials,
Yeah, I'm
Fiends.
focusing on abrogation.
aberrations. Alright. So, is anyone going to do anything else while he's doing this channeling for a minute?
I'm going to be a nature nerd and look around the waterfall and be like,
Okay.
are the plants different here? Can I see the animals?
It's a lot easier to see the type of plant life, where I can now use my drawing. You guys can have a look on the Digger's Falls.
I'm sorry, can you say that again? Because I'm pretty sure I did not hear the word you said. Yeah, Digless. Okay. I thought you said Dickless Falls, and I'm.
That's hilarious. And no.
I mean, that's fairly normal, surely? Yeah. I mean, you're used to seeing a lot of like dick falls.
I don't think so.
That sounds really different when you say it out loud.
So yes,
I bet he did.
as you approach, you can see this. The swirl cloud is literally just west of west of you as you approach this, and it's very much the sense of the waterfall, kind of the noise itself, as well as the cloud of mist that seems to be not really billowing out, but seems to be coalescing around the entrance. And as you guys approach, you can definitely see this is where a lot of whatever type of life is down here seems to be flourishing. As you see, the moss is covering the entirety of the ground. You can barely see any of the rocks. There are some that seems to be jutting out of places, of varying degrees of dark stone to very pale, almost chalk-like stone as well. And as you approach Ulan, you can definitely see this is where a lot of the nature seems to be building around, or this is the rest of the forest, which seems to be more open to the elements. As you can see, various levels of mushrooms and other growths.
I'll take a couple more samples. If there are like
The mushrooms definitely look similar to the other ones.
similar to them, but they're quite big from the look of the picture.
Some of them are very large. Some of them, these purple ones, also have a very fluorescent in their, almost like tulips.
Are they like clustered? Like, is there like a cluster of purple ones and then a cluster of?
Yes, very much like the picture. There's
So I would like to take some soil samples from near all of the different kinds of mushrooms, including the red one.
okay. You can definitely be careful and not try and touch any of the mushrooms themselves.
I'm trying to I'm trying to maximize my odds of getting different spores in the soil samples and stuff.
Okay. You're just going to go around taking a look, making sure you're not approaching the spore cloud.
Yes.
Okay. What's everyone else doing as you're approaching this?
I'm keeping guard of the prisoner, make sure he doesn't like run out.
Okay.
I'm gyroscaping my sonar.
Yep. You're doing that for the rest of the minute, and it's going to end soon. Anyone else do anything crazy? Or non-crazy?
What words did you just say, Ladito? Did you say you're gyroscoping your sonar?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, I love that. That is the best. Ah, that's cool. Okay, cool. I like that thing.
But yeah, so while everyone else is just waiting, Savant, your primeval awareness kicks in as you feel the feedback coming from the rest of nature itself coming back into you, as it gives you the sense. I don't think it gives you direction, does it?
No, only favorite enemies. I get direction.
It gives you the sense that there is definitely aberrational essence directly below you guys. Not sure exactly where, but it's definitely somewhere below.
I don't get exact numbers, but do I get like a general number, like many, huge, stuff like that?
It's a large. It's like on a sonar, like you get a blip. This is like.
So this is like when people do sonar scans of Loch Ness, and there's a massive thing, and no one can tell if it's a fuckload of fish or a Loch Ness monster.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like. Bleep. It's like that was a thing.
Basically, I found a U-boat full of aberrations.
Yeah. And you know what like a large blip is, like when you find a giant in some of your hunts. It's like that was large. That was like ridiculous. Like you're pretty sure it almost covered your scope for a second, and you're like, no, kind of.
That wouldn't scare the shit out of him. Basically, like going on a hunt and suddenly it's like his entire stomach, like, you're fucked.
And yeah, all of you can now see the tree line just on the other side of this this fall. That's all the trees are just ever so slightly shifting, like there's a wind blowing through them. Just the ever so subtle rustling.
Has Savant been communicating what he sends to the group, or is he going to do that?
Yeah, I was
in a
just
minute?
going to type that. Yes, he's
Okay,
sending
cool.
by a sending stone, basically like there is abbreviations. Apparently, I need to drink water.
Aberration.
Below us. I need to drink more water. That's why. I need to get more water because I'm out.
It
Uh,
seems like
right
your
below us.
drop-off joke wasn't far off base then. Maybe it really is a literal drop-off.
That would be interesting, definitely. I can't get totally there, but they're definitely below us, and it's possible that is that way. Below us.
Why? Because it took 10 minutes for him to do his
No,
thing.
1.
1 minute. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, while he was scanning that, I just want to ask for Seren and Serafina, since they are both congregating towards. And I will tell. I'm going to give Serafina my sending stone. Because she keeps missing out on conversations. So
Well, now you will miss out on conversations.
I have a plan for that later, but you can relay for me because you're.
We really need an extra sending.
Well, what I was thinking is, with these sending stones, if we keep one as a group and hand out these sending stones to allies, we'll just buy a whole new set for the group when we get back. Because then we've got like a longer, like with Kaylee, if we give these sending stones to useful people in useful places as a means of communication.
So we're basically going to be the rich douchebag friends that give you a phone just to call
No,
him.
we're just like, hey, take this burner phone. My number's programmed in.
Yes, we are the rich douchebag
Don't
friends.
lose
Just
it.
have a give
We're,
friend
like,
a
we're,
burner
we're not
phone, just
rich
call him.
douchebags, we're drug dealers.
That too.
But yeah, no, with Sarah and Serafina, I'm just gonna ask, when people were poking the mushrooms and getting affected by stuff, was it breathing in the spores that did it, or was it like skin contact?
It's skin contact,
I
right,
s-
Amber? But yeah,
Was it with like did they touch it and spores were released, and then the
Yeah,
spores
and
got on
they
the skin, or
covered people.
so it was like a big
it
massive
covered
cloud of
people,
spores.
and then it grew over them, kinda. I think, if I remember correctly.
From what you two saw, especially for Seninger and Aaron, he very gently touched it and it seemed to just affect him immediately from just touching it. Seninger, because Serafina poked it, there was a large, not so much explosion, but release into the area around, which it seemed to be on contact.
So sorry.
Yeah,
So Aaron just
Touched it.
Yes.
the purple one.
Yes, it was pretty.
Senator tried to grab him
But
and put him away, and then Serafina poked it.
So did it make? So with Aaron, did it make like a puff of spores, or did it just did he just touch it and get
It touched it and it kind of almost flaked off.
Okay.
And then it was poked by Serafina and it went.
And poke made a spore friend. Or... But was it just like skin contact, or did he did Seneca breathe it in?
It's pretty fast, so you're not really sure. It definitely could have been both, as he wasn't wearing armor.
Okay, and did they just wake up fine, or was healing required, or?
It took a while. I think it was
Yeah.
I think
Over
it was
time, they
10 minutes or an hour. I
Were
can't
they,
remember.
were they both unconscious for the same amount of time?
They weren't unconscious, they were paralyzed.
Or paralyzed, sorry. But was it for the same amount of time for both of them, or did
It seemed to be around the same time, yes.
And was it 10 minutes? You said.
Senegal got killed by Ethelwald.
He did.
Oh, okay. But they just left you paralyzed.
Yep.
He had to learn his lesson.
Which he really didn't, because he's like, hey, I'm getting carried.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to feel sorry for Aaron, and then no, yeah, fair enough.
And then I made a obscure, except for Italian movie joke.
You made a movie joke?
Yes.
Oh god.
And then, so because Mimsa just sent me her notes that she took.
There you go.
So the orange one was combustible.
Yes.
So did it catch fire, or did it make things? that
We
touched it
had
catch fire?
it's information we got. We haven't touched any other
From
corner.
Row.
From Row. Okay.
I asked.
They had a long conversation while they were traveling.
Okay. And she just wants you.
Don't touch.
So with the
You
blue
basically
one,
don't touch.
with the blue one, you said that it like nothing happens. So is like the blue one
Well,
safe, or is it
It's the least dangerous.
the least dangerous? But Row didn't tell you
No.
what
No,
it does.
she didn't give specifics kinda
Okay.
about it. You can poke it, but don't pick it.
Poke it, but don't pick. Okay.
Funny.
That.
That
uh,
sounds terrible.
That's yeah.
That sounds like important advice to give to a teenager going through puberty, isn't it? Poke it, but don't.
It was Scar.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
Okay, I will talk to Row later, and she's back at the
Yes.
sample. Okay.
At the ruins.
I'm back at the fortress.
Okay,
The
so yeah,
fortress.
of Solomon. So yeah, Ulan would have just been like making sure he's got the specifics because he's in horticulture and earth mode, and then we hear what Savant said, and now I will stop looking.
Sure. Yes, which, as you've already been relayed this, you definitely do see and notice the different types. You do see some red ones. You definitely see some cyan ones, which you've already noticed because you went to pick up soil samples.
You see cyan, was that?
Cyan, like blue.
Yeah. So are those the blue ones, or is this a different?
Those would be what seems to be blue ones. The rest of the group, actually, no, the rest of the group has seen them. So yes, they look like them. The green ones, yellow, all seem to be either clustered by the trees into the forest, or some sparse ones seem to be around the actual fall itself.
I've gotten these notes green and yellow. Is it there's green ones and there's yellow ones, or are there ones that are green and yellow?
No, there's a green one and there's a yellow one, and they're about the same weird thing.
About the same. Okay. And the red ones Row didn't mention? Is that right?
And you don't have the notes on the red one. It's an orange one that's combustible.
Is the red and the orange one the same, or
Not really sure. I don't
I
think
don't
Rogue
know.
told you directly.
are
Just-
there any orange ones around here?
Orange ones, no, actually.
Good.
Okay, there's no orange ones. Okay.
There are red.
Okay. And so I have samples of red. I have I took soil samples near the red ones. What other colours are around here?
You're gonna just go through all. You're just gonna go through all of them as you move around.
I'll look
Okay.
at them all.
No, I don't think you need to make you do one. Yeah. So you get red, the
Yep.
cyan blue,
Yep.
green and yellow.
Green and yellow, but no orange and no purple.
No, not around here.
Okay, that's cool.
No,
Um,
no, don't. Oh,
Well, you don't
Actually, no,
have
sorry. There's a
purple
purple.
everything.
There is purple
Oh, there
actually,
is purple. Okay. I'll get some purple as well.
and you make sure as you collect the sample, you make sure it's underneath, but not directly touching.
Yes, yeah. So I want soil with potentially with spores in, and I'm labeling the containers that they're in. I'm just assuming it's like you know, the little teeny weeny vials that you put soil samples in, and then you put the chemical in, and it goes green if it's acidic and all that business. I'm just imagining that,
Sure.
like,
I'm gonna
just like-
guess
just
you
like
have
teeny-
some of those.
as part of like the kit. I will like replenish it next time we go.
Yeah.
Shopping, because I imagine I'm using most of it, but
Okay. Actually, I'm gonna do some rolls. I'm gonna see how many. Let's do a D100.
the sample that I took earlier, there weren't any mushrooms around there, right? It was just a
Huh?
benign or something.
From which ones? When you looked at the moss before, no, there wasn't.
Yeah. Okay, and I've got a moss sample here as well.
Okay.
Do I need to note down that 74?
Yes. That will cover the samples of mushrooms that you've collected.
And the D4 roll earlier was a 2 on the moss sample.
Yes.
And was that a D100 you rolled?
Yeah, D100.
100 is 74. Okay, cool.
We'll see what those mean later on. So, as you guys are going to do anything else?
I need to buy a horticulture notebook to write all of the nerd things down.
You guys going to do anything else as you're looking around this place? I imagine someone's going to look for tracks.
Yes.
That's why you're here.
And I'd like to look.
It's
in the
literally my job. If I don't do this, I'm quite dumb.
I'd like to look in the waterfall and see if, like, it looks as if there is a way down, not just like a way for us to get down, but like a way that people get down.
Sure. You can get to the one side, the safe side, and you can peer down. It's very misty. It's not foggy like the forest, but there is a mist that you can feel coming up from it.
Water spray?
Water spray, yeah.
Yeah.
Which kind of just gets across you, and it's like. But you can definitely look down into it. It's partially obscured, but it's not too hard to notice that there definitely is. They're not steps like the Titan steps above, but there's definitely ledges below.
Okay.
They're not really like footholds per se. It's climbable, but it's very much a hole that goes down with jagged rocks sticking out from parts.
So there's no sign of like
there's no
or climbing pitons or anything.
Not from what you can tell.
People normally go down it.
Savant's looking around 14. You definitely notice the tracks have led towards this. You can definitely tell the 4 humanoid footprints have gone towards, and they're pretty much going towards where you guys are standing, on the west side of this. Sorry, not west, east side. And it seems they've planted large boxes, several over a series of positions down by one side, and you can tell this specifically because the moss has been crushed down into the earth and very specifically placed this shape into the ground, which is very inorganic as these square shapes. And yeah, that's what you can tell from just looking around on the ground itself.
I have a bad feeling about this. Can I do some kind of roll to see if the hole in the ground is really like a giant space snake full of Minox?
Sure. Get nature.
I was semi-joking, but I do actually want to like look down and see if there's any signs of life in there. And like,
well, you've just heard from Savant that there is aberrations somewhere in the area.
Okay. Well, I go. Oh.
You can do a nature as well.
Yeah.
8. There's moss covering most of this, most of the moor itself. There's definitely rock on the sides. Like, that's definitely rock material.
It is definitely rock. Okay.
But you're not sure what's below.
I'm just worried that we're gonna land the Millennium Falcon to fix the hyperdrive, and it'll turn out we're in the stomach of something, and it'll just be bad. Or more specifically, I'm worried that they leave the boxes by like.
And it's a Sarlacc pit, and it just comes out and eats it.
Well, not necessarily a Sarlacc pit, but yeah, I was worried something would come out and they're making offerings to some kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. It is a hole, and there's definitely, it goes somewhere. It's covered up by the mist. You can definitely see these ledges and these outcroppings of rocks below, where you can see the water splashed across it, and it's causing this mist to build up. But you can't really see it further than that.
Fenris would be so handy right now to shut down the hole.
And bricks.
Yeah.
Is there anything I can see standing on the edge looking down into it?
Oh, you're just gonna look down as well? Sure.
Yeah.
Give me a perception if you're gonna really strain to look down.
No.
11. Okay. You can see about the same as you then. Looking down, you can see the ledges that have been built, not really built in, but have been created over time. You can see where it's been worn down from water splashing against it. Looking at like you could climb down that. It's not like it's hard. It would take time. Like you've climbed cliffs and rocks before. This is definitely pretty much the same sort of thing. It's just wet. There is a kind of decline to it. It's not straight down. There definitely is some shifting of the tunnel. It's not like the Titan steps where it's a sheer drop down. This is very much weaving and seems to be twisting.
Much more natural.
Yeah, as you're pretty sure you can see splashes of water that seem to funnel down in a direction. But that's yeah.
What you're looking at?
Well, you see, Aaron, there's this big hole here, and water goes in it.
You see a big hole with water running into it, almost like a waterfall.
Meh.
The hole itself is probably only around 50 feet wide.
And it's a perfect circle?
It's close. It's not really perfect per se. There's definitely organic structure in terms of you're not really sure what caused it, but it's definitely gone down naturally. You can see breakings of rock and earth that have fallen down. You can see moss that's growing over one side and slightly falling down into it as well. Almost like it's growing like vines.
One out of game because Serafina is basically keeping to the side but keeping an eye on people.
Yeah, this is more just information for the others that are looking down.
Okay.
So, do we have any business going down there?
I'm not sure. Savant, is there any sign of activity around here?
With my 14, did I see anything?
14, that's survival. You can do perception if you want to look around. As you were checking the tracks, there's definitely other creatures that have been through here. Like, same thing as before, they seem to be coming to drink the water from the rivers that go into this place. As you look around, you can definitely see some seem to be going towards the forest as well. Most of them seem to be going away from the forest. Specifically, though, the ones going into the forest don't look like beasts. You're not really sure what they look like. They're definitely the closest thing that it reminds you to are almost like they're nothing like you've ever seen. They're very weird, circular, almost like pads. Almost like an elephant, like was here, but it's a lot smaller. It's like only half a foot wide.
As a
What does,
baby
what
elephant.
does
Yeah, kinda like
Janga's
a-
footprints look like?
Janga's are like a cat. He's got very obvious paw prints.
Oh, that's so cute.
And all of you can very easily see where you've been stepping because of the moss, which the moss itself around here is very squishy, either from all the water that's absorbed from the 3 rivers that have been running into it, but there's more life around this part, so it's definitely more soft in terms of materials.
Savant, you saw tracks like leading to here, and then it looked like boxes have been put down.
Yeah.
Do the tracks lead away back the way they came, or do they connect up with the ones leading into the forest?
Can I see
So
that?
does it look like people came here, left the boxes, and then went away, or does it look like people came here, left the boxes, and then went on into the forest?
The 4 tracks that you've seen, you only see one going back.
Oh, well, this is weird. From the 4 tracks here, I can only see one getting back. Either they are somewhere here, or someone got murdered by their friends.
Or eaten by the scary monster that lives down the hall.
Okay.
Can I see marks of like boxes being left?
Yeah, you can see the box marks. You can see these very obvious square presses into the dirt, where they've literally, it's basically killed most of the moss underneath it, from where it just crushed it.
And the boxes definitely were here.
I am suddenly regretting not leaving a sending stone with Archentile.
Well,
Next time you leave a sending stone with Archentile.
Doesn't your friend Alan, can you not send
No,
a message?
Well, Aaron can. From when I was super special, I didn't mean like we can't contact him. I just mean it would have been awful convenient if we could walkie-talkie
And well, if
without
each cast
spending
is
skill slots. Yeah.
limited and it's third level spell, and I don't prepare it. How to stop?
Well,
Yeah.
if we don't need to send a message, what's so important? Is there
Well,
something here?
I was just thinking if we're about to check out and see if there's anything down this hole, we should probably let him know.
Whoa. We came here to investigate, not to have a look down here.
Well, that would be investigating. We don't know what's here. We've come to the Misting Moor and it's a hole in the ground and we've found nothing.
We know that this is the drop-off point.
Yes, and we know that 4 people came and only one seems to have left, so where did the other 3 go? Did they go down the hole? Did they go in the woods? Did they
it might
sprout
be
wings
a
and
little.
fly away?
It might be a little drop point.
What do you mean?
Well, drop the things in the hole.
Aye, it's certainly, well,
And then leave again.
Well,
Nobody would know what is down there or what would happen, so they cannot say it.
Django begins looking around the tracks where Savant, you pointed out the 4 prints, and one seems to be walking away. The 3 that aren't walking away, did they go somewhere? Did they fall?
That's exactly what I'm gonna check right now.
Ithelmore, could you ask our friends?
I'm gonna start tracking those 3 tracks. This is highly irregular.
Alright, you can give me another survival. See if you can notice anything different about these tracks.
Ithelmore, could you ask our friends how many drow usually guard one of the convoys?
I turn to him and say, how many guards normally guard these convoys? And do any stay behind or?
I have no idea. I came for 1 trip. I was paid good.
How many
Have you got
were
any-
on...
Have you got any friends who have worked previously?
You don't know Drow very well, do you? We
No, I don't.
don't have friends.
Acquaintances then.
Accomplices.
Do you know anyone who has done this job previously?
No, not really. I know the priest that you killed, but he's dead now. Good.
Can
What?
I inside check him to see if he's lying?
Sure. Are you trying to figure out if the whole thing's a lie? Which parts?
Well, if he's trying to evade what I'm asking.
It doesn't seem to be invading it, no. He actually seems happy, especially on the last part with the priestess dead.
I would come up and down and say, so you know nothing then?
Why would I? I'm a guide. I was paid to watch over their convoy. I did until they decided to go look at the light in the ruin. and then they died, so I don't need to work.
I turn back to Ran and say, he knows nothing.
He's Jon Snow.
Exactly. Is his middle name Jon Snow?
He seems a
No,
bit
it's John Drow.
Oh. He seems a bit
How
useless.
many people were guarding his convoy? Like when we turned up, there were the two guys in adamantine. There was the priestess lady, and there were 3 others, or were there 4 others?
4. 2 were on Arkan. 1 was dealing with the snake, or Sechiko, and then 1 that ran at Savant.
That's right.
So there was quite a few in comparison.
Well, all of Ithamar, can you ask him if everyone on his convoy was a hired guard like him, or were any of them like loyal to the priestess rather than mercenary, or?
I turn to the person and say, we're all your accomplices that we killed back at that ruin hired guards, or were there
No. I know those guys in black, those definitely were the priestess. The one with the one with the tentacles, that was weird. But no, the other ones were just guards. Priestess for some reason wanted more. Not sure why. She had those guys in black armor, they look pretty tough. Guess it wasn't enough.
Bear,
Hi.
I wanna cast detect magic.
Okay. You can do that.
Just to see.
I guess you're just gonna straight cast it from stone?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
And then, yeah, look around to see if there's any differences anywhere, kinda. Especially with the hole.
Oh, I see coming. I think we know who the 3 disappearing footsteps are.
No, you don't see any difference in magic. You see everyone else's magic from their items themselves. Don't see anything coming from the hole. You don't see any coming from the forest. So very much
Yeah, nature.
nature.
Quite
Nature
learn
shit.
what to do with this.
Yeah.
Not really, no.
And the person just shrugs. Like,
I'm used to it.
I think Ulan say, according to him, everyone except those 2 guys in black were hired by the priestess.
That's what I suspected.
You're thinking maybe they tracked the guards down the hole?
I'm thinking the 3 people that didn't walk back were his predecessors, and that if he'd made it here with the convoy, he wouldn't have walked away from it.
they were further.
Perhaps that's a sentiment that we should convey to him when we release him.
Which means
To make
they
sure.
want bodies.
When are we going to release him?
The agreement was shortly after arriving here, but
Well, we didn't.
Now,
The message go thing did say they want buddies. So,
aye, exactly.
of course they want buddies, but yeah. So,
Yeah, I don't think he realised that. And perhaps
No.
if we can adequately convey that to him, it will discourage any misplaced residual loyalty that he might be feeling.
I nod and I grab the prison and guide him over to the hole.
Whoa.
Don't worry. This.
You're grabbing me. I thought we were good.
I'll show you something. I point Bullstone and say, "This is where your predecessors disappeared to. Lucky you, we're not the same as those predecessors, so you won't be going down there.
Nice.
I hope you appreciate how lucky you are,
I'm not dead.
and you're not going down the hole. I release him step back, so he's just there.
I don't care if they died. I'm happy that I'm alive, though, so thank you. But, what?
I don't want you to worry about the predecessors. I just trying to stress how lucky you are that you haven't joined them.
Oh, no, I do understand. As I said, I'm not going to go back. I'm going to head to that other place. I'm going to find it, though. Somewhere. Some other cavern, somewhere. Well, if I make it there alive, I might live.
Right to Sri Lanka and just walk back to the group.
You don't worry about dying down here. You worry about dying to something else.
Do we have him restrained at all?
No.
No.
I just
So?
I say Dublan, Holy Scarpers, need anything else?
I was just going to ask the same thing. I think we're done with him. Right, guys?
It's a bit of a shame that he's going alone. He's got no weapons. I don't think he'll make it even to the first colony alive.
Oh, why did you have to say that?
I'm just making it known.
I'm just saying, if we can get him some way up to the surface, like he could totally do something like more purposes than doing the evil stuff.
he
He's a
wants-
good guy in my collection.
He wants to go to another drow settlement, right? The
Do we know about the
Moonlight?
other side?
I turn back to the prison and I say, you're free to go, but we don't fancy your chances going alone. You're welcome to stay with us for now if you wish.
No thanks.
Does if will translate?
I just shrug and turn back and say, I don't think he likes us. He wants to go, and he doesn't care about dying.
Ulan is going to reach into his robes and pull out his two non-magical daggers, and he's going to give them to the guy.
Don't
As
we
he
have-
hands me over, I say,
Hmm.
a little gift from our scaly friend here.
Kind of just picks him up, kind of throws him in the air a bit. Not bad. I won't die to a spider now.
And Ulan's going to give him like a kung fu bow.
He kind of just spins him around, kind of just tucks him into a belt. It's like,
At least he's a dangerous source.
yeah, I do. So, have fun doing whatever you're doing. And he strolls back across towards the river.
I call out,
conscience.
try not to get eaten.
You can literally just hear him chuckling, like.
Something says me you would rather get eaten than anything else down here. As an out of game comment.
Yeah, that seems like the leading cause of death.
The safest.
Yeah.
The leading cause of death is being eaten. The second leading cause of death is other drow being assholes.
Drow being assholes is definitely a pastime for them.
Present company accepted.
Which Jenga probably does say, actually. Don't worry, all drow are like that. They're very much, well, assholes in almost all regards.
The leading cause of death is your heart stopping, and then oxygen starvation to your brain. Yeah.
Although I do agree with him, dying is probably the nicest thing, considering what I almost had with the Illithid.
Well, you know what they say, dying ain't much of a living.
No, it's not. It's called dying.
Especially when you're living on the run. Dying ain't much of a living for the young either.
So,
Anyway.
what are we doing now?
You're welcome.
Terran's
Dee.
debating jumping in the hole at this point.
Ulan is also debating jumping in the hole at this point, but for different reasons.
So now when he knows what he's looking for, he's gonna specifically look if they were pushed, if they were magically thrown into there, how we expect them to be thrown into the hole.
What did you
How
roll?
did they get into it?
You rolled a 10? Oh god.
That was for looking where the footprints went. The roll for looking around at the boxes was a 15, I think.
Yeah. It's a 10. They don't seem to go anywhere. At 10, however, you do, as you kind of get on your knees and look around where the tracks were, it's hard to spot, first of all, because you had to brush some of the moss away, but underneath some of the moss, there is a dried patch of blood.
Yeah.
Perfect. They were a struggle at least, or a short one.
Should we make a concealed camp and wait to see if anyone shows up?
Where would we conceal it? Inside the spore cloud and the mushrooms?
That sounds not good.
Yeah.
Could Mistress Serafina put up the hut thing and disguise it as a giant mushroom?
No. I can make a hemisphere in a specific color. I cannot disguise it.
Well, can't you make it the same colour as a mushroom? It just look like the top part of a mushroom.
It'd be a pretty big mushroom.
Technically, yes.
What is it, 20 foot? Yeah, it'd be pretty big in comparison to mushrooms. Most of the mushrooms are about 5 foot wide.
The thing is, right?
Is there anything else in the area? Except for the hole and...
Apart from the hole, the trees, a couple of rock outcroppings. A little bit further away from this area, there is obviously the more barren landscape, which goes into stalactites. Stalactites or stalagmites? Stalagmites.
From the ground, mites.
Yeah, stalagmites.
Mites go up, tights come down.
Yep. Yeah, stalagmites there. They're kind of clustered around in some parts. There's obviously occasional breakings of rock that go down into kind of almost like a basin in parts. It's definitely still not flat ground. It's definitely very it's definitely not flat. This is definitely just a mess of different types of landscape still. So you could definitely go into like a pit of some kind. You can dig out some rock. But there isn't really anything like a cave. The closest thing to a cave is currently the moor from this angle, you can see.
Also more if there was any other clues.
Do you want to actually have a look around and investigate?
Yeah, because I feel like we're running in circles.
Okay.
I have no idea what we're actually doing.
I'm not sure there's much reason to wait though, even if we manage to hide, because if someone is here watching for the convoy to arrive, they've seen us.
Yeah.
If they're not watching for the convoy arrive, and the convoy had to trigger something to attract their attention, we don't know what it is, so we can't trigger anything, and waiting won't get us anything. So the only thing we could possibly wait for is the next convoy, which is probably going to be days.
I will still look around for clues.
Yeah.
Being careful that I might not stumble into anything.
Anything mushroom based.
Anything mushroom related.
Sure.
I don't want to get paralyzed or burst into flames.
Those are all good ideas not to have. So yeah, give me an investigation check. You gotta go look around where the footprints and the boxes were. I imagine. 17. Damn. Yeah, you notice about the same thing as you look around. You definitely notice, though, not just this blood stain that Cervantes found, there's multiple. And as you start brushing away more of the moss, it's not just like a small patch. It seems like this has been not just once. And as you look at the edge of where the it goes into the moor, the rock itself is also stained as well. You also see bits of torn cloth that seem to have not that have either snapped off at some point.
Oh, perfect.
And a large part of the rock on one side has been, it's not really smoothed, but definitely has more of an angle to it, where you can see that blood has drained down towards.
Okay. Yeah,
No,
they're
I think-
definitely dropping bodies into the hole. And a lot of blood. Like,
So it
a
is
lot of
a
blood,
drop.
and I point all of, yeah, basically everything out that I just found.
Yeah, it's covering quite a large area.
Perfect. It is a drop off for bodies that they're probably feeding something down there.
Well,
Oh,
I think
yeah.
we've thoroughly explored this area. Let's leave before we have to roll initiative.
Aaron, give me a perception check. Saren, you can as well, actually.
Okay, just let me.
Hoping your character sheet.
If this would make a roll, that would be a t-shirt.
That would be a t-shirt. Let me just open my character sheet. Okay, yeah, that's a Saren row.
Somebody's
Nice.
on road today.
Okay, even with a 9, that's a 16. Nice. Yeah, the two of you, and you just catch a glimpse of that as you kind of just looking around, seeing where anything's interesting to look at. You do catch though a glimpse into the forest that there was movement that moved between two of the trees. So you don't see the glimpse; you see the movement as it came out of the tree, and seemed to have disappeared further in. It looked like a humanoid, but it was far too short, stout, almost like a dwarf. But there's no hair. It was very much like bark.
I will immediately turn to it and do a kung fu karate chop in the fence, even though it's like miles away.
Yeah. And you see it vanish behind a couple more trees and then disappear into the spore cloud.
Aaron, what do your brown eyes see? Because you're not an elf. I assume they're brown. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good guess.
Something. I don't know exactly.
Very small, no hair. It looked like bark almost. Maybe one of the natives of this.
Bark? Like you saw a little tree man.
Yeah.
Can you describe it better? I could
A
follow
wee
it.
tree. His
I
name
will
is Wee Tree.
I will
It
try to jog
almost
my
This is
memory.
Wee Tree.
It was almost dwarven, but not. I mean, it was about the same stature.
It was a little odd. It's like it had arms were a little too long, and they weren't like dwarf shoulders. Like these were like scringly, like horrible, like almost like elf like arms. That's like horrible.
Did
They're
you
like,
just specify the shoulders for D?
yeah, I did.
Yup.
Like that's what she notices.
I guess so.
I mean, the very details, Christian, the smooth stone is smooth, there's no kind of markings in it.
There's definitely still markings in the stone itself. It's not smooth, but you definitely can tell something's been moved across it multiple times to smoothen it out. It's still rock and there's still roughness to it, but it's definitely been like chipped at from multiple things rolling across it.
Yeah, that just enforces my thought about it being a chopping block.
Is there any moss on this stone?
That stone, no.
So there had definitely been some rolling stones through here. Wait, no, because they don't gather moss. I did that backwards. Never mind, ignore me.
Wah,
Not
wah.
only was that a bad joke, it was a bad joke that I got wrong.
That you got wrong.
It's,
Yeah.
I'm still
Mr.
staring
Bell.
into the forest, so I think we are definitely being watched. So I'm tempted to. We need
Run
to
in.
go, or
Go,
we need
charge
to.
in.
What did its feet look like?
I
They look like stumps. Like it was kind of hard to see just from a glimpse and from the distance, but you have pretty decent eyesight. Like I was like literally like almost like tree stumps.
Like baby elephant feet, perhaps, Aaron?
No, kind of like a tree uprooted,
No,
like a
I mean-
sapling uprooted itself.
I
Well,
mean,
that-
like the footprints that.
That's perfect.
Well, fine, earlier.
I have enough information for to follow it, but are we going to do that, or are we going to get away from this?
No,
ritual
we are not
sacrifice?
going in
I
there.
don't. No, I don't mean we should follow it. What I mean is we have those mystery footprints earlier on.
Does it look like those
Ah.
feet caused those mystery footprints?
Without a better look, it's like possibly. It's like it could be around the same size. So yeah,
Maybe.
like you would literally have to grab its foot and then have a look to really have like a perfect understanding. But it's like it's about the same size. It's possible it was round.
It's
I-
possible. I
Someone
mean,
needs
I
to
couldn't say
invent
for sure until it.
concrete so you can make footmarks.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Would you mind stepping in this plaster, please?
I think we should head back now. We've
think that's a good
gotten
idea.
what we need. This is definitely the drop-off point. We can
Uh-huh.
go down here when we have a better idea of how to
We'll see
proceed.
what the Oracle has to say about that, I suppose.
I wonder what
Yes,
she looks like.
a person.
Well, that's
But-
descriptive.
Yes.
Let's
But
go and
thanks,
see other than.
thanks, Junker. I can see why you were brought in for your expert scouting.
I know.
That's like a deeply thorough reconnaissance report there, thank you.
I thought it was for my sarcasm.
It's the shoulders, and then she'll just walk off.
Since we aren't like tracking anything on the way back, I would like Junker to walk next to them.
Okay, you can walk next to him. Sure.
Because I want to ask him a very important question.
Okay.
So this like ashen table of yours,
Yes.
how well do you know the other members?
Not much. As Arkin told you, we act very much alone.
Have you ever worked with other members of the Ashen Table that are not with us currently?
One or two, yes.
Were they called? And Ulan is going to list every single character we've ever met as we're walking back. Like
Oh my
Gallant.
god.
Just, like starting
Uh.
with Gallant, but yeah.
No, but I have dealt with tieflings, so I'm not sure if they're related.
Wait, starting
We're
with Gallant?
Gallant,
Are you not
isn't
going to go for a backstabbing friend from the beginning?
What?
What
Oh.
the-
Fetish.
That is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I didn't even think of that.
You're going to start with the most.
If I
People
started
that
with Gallant, it definitely was an alphabetical order, but
Alphabetical order. Yeah.
Oh my god.
But no, he does tell you. We don't work with very many people. It's, I wouldn't say it's small, but it's definitely select. I've worked with Setchiko and Arkin a few times, well in the east. That's where they found me.
basically, yes.
That baker. God.
The guy with the cart of cabbages.
My cabbages.
The lady that made the gingerbread man of us.
The king.
The queen, the princess.
Everyone from the Mage's Tower. Nem. Actually, is probably a good one to mention.
Nev.
Nev.
Nev, sorry, yeah.
Oh.
Alright. How did you you say they're very selective. How did you get selected?
While we were dealing with a problem with the Kitsune, one of the other races in the east, they were having trouble with one of the lords. More of a tyrant. He was trying to wage war using some type of demonic entity. We stopped him. Arkan sealed him away. Everything was fine. I assisted and decided to help them a little more. And here I am.
And do you trust them?
Enough to save the world with them, yes. I wouldn't trust them to make food. Good. But I can trust them to make sure they have my back at least. That I'm sure of.
Alright.
For the rest, I haven't dealt with them too much. Ro, I know about. She's straightforward. Says what's on her head immediately. Buka, I don't know about. He's very much part of the villain.
Alright.
But
And I presume the same with Miss Sherwood as well.
she was not part of the group until maybe only a month or two ago.
Alright.
And she's not really even a part. She's an assistant to Buka.
You guys would have a lot of talk about she got captured as well. I can
Sure.
sense it. I can sense it.
I didn't actually hear what you said. I'm just hearing this ominous crescendo of noise coming from Ambi.
Oh look, a mushroom.
No.
Let's just shove him into the purple. No. One last question for you.
Yes.
And I need you to be deeply honest, alright?
Mm.
You want to punch Arcantile in the face sometimes as well, right? It's not just us. He has that effect on people, right?
I've been hearing this a lot. I don't understand.
Okay.
Maybe it is some type of cultural difference.
Have you ever met the Oracle?
The
I always say
Oracle.
One last question, but I like.
I was taken to meet her, yes, when I first joined.
What's she like?
She is, I would say human, but I'm not sure.
Or does she have a tail?
No.
Why would a human have a tail, Aaron?
Well, he said she's not exactly human.
There's something odd. Her eyes. She's blind, I'm not sure. She looks it, but she has no walking stick, no problem seeing. It is odd. A human with no iris is. You don't know where to look. And she speaks with not so much authority, but a position of knowledge, of confidence, which I don't know if it means she knows exactly what she says or is even sane, but she's been through on everything that she has said. She even spoke that King's Arch would be fine even with the drift. And she was right. And if her concern is true, that down here is something, I think she used the word growing, then it is definitely important that the rest of us are here.
Especially with so many of you here and her coming herself.
And you.
I think we're on the same wavelength there, Sarah.
Aye.
Yes, we've usually dealt in maybe 2 or 3. 5, 6 is probably unprecedented.
I think Sarah and I are more concerned about the Oracle and the fact that I'm assuming it's very atypical for her to put herself in
the front line.
Just look out. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. That is one of the things that Vro brought.
Just considering that there's possibly the involvement of Lolth here in some fashion.
There's definitely something. I'm not sure if it's her, these Illithid, even the Drow, or even... There's a lot of machinations at work, if that is the word.
I'm just concerned that if gods are involved, then anything's possible, and your Oracle might be walking into a trap.
Well, if we have Arkan and Booker, I believe definitely the planes are in motion.
There's that.
How is she coming here? Is she teleporting in?
I don't know. I know she could be powerful. I've never seen her do anything though. She just speaks.
Oh.
How often does she get things wrong?
Not a single time. Which is the terrifying thing.
What kind of prophecy does she provide? Is it detailed? Is it vague? Does she give you specifics, or is it like a great danger will envelop?
Picture she gets, a image,
An image.
almost
A vision?
almost like a vision. She says.
Does she communicate the vision? I was literally thinking the same thing, Owen. Does she communicate these things verbally, or does she draw them, or project them to you?
She tells us through messages to whoever is nearest. That I don't know though. How does she know who's closest? It's quite uncanny.
I'll be the microchip.
If she has this strange kind of vision, she may be a practitioner of some sort of magic, and if she can use magic, maybe she can, I don't know.
Dry or...
No, tap into the ley lines, which are usually like a web of some sort. Maybe that's giving her some more form of insight to know who's closest to whatever disturbance has piqued her vision.
You're basically saying she Googled them.
No.
Who is closest?
No, it's not Google. She just used that
Database.
iPhone tracker that parents put on their kids' phones.
She just sits there and goes, Alexa, who is nearest to... And then Amazon tells her.
Well, we'll see when she arrives. I'm actually quite curious what she can do. One that just speaks. as she does means she must be capable of something.
Do the prophecies come to her involuntarily? Is she the kind of oracle that you can ask questions and she'll give answers, or does she only get what she?
She's mysterious. None of us dare ask her questions. I
Well,
know.
that's about to change.
Oh dear.
I would not be surprised, considering you guys.
Yeah, well,
Though
you know what they say about curiosity and cats, so you might want to be careful.
we'll see what answer she does give you, though.
I'm really sorry. I tried as long as I could, and I was like, how can I set that up?
Wait, I missed it.
I said, you know what they say about curiosity and cats, so you might need to be careful.
No, you don't get it.
Oh, right, he doesn't get it.
That's
Oh.
probably just best.
Probably the best, yeah.
Well, hopefully the questions you ask are... Well, hopefully the answers are something you want.
Hopefully the questions are respectful, insightful, and have no kind of meta subtext whatsoever. Right.
Well,
I guess we should just keep walking in silence now.
well, we're almost there.
People come with non-cryptic answers.
You'll be lucky. And we'll end the session there.
Really?
Yes.